Guys, that's your coming at you today, Ray Shadow Legends, with another champion guide, this time on Force Affinity, Bannerlord, Legendary Champion, Helior. So, we have a few shoutouts. Daniel looking for a build for Helior. He doesn't even say, please, Daniel. Come on, man. We have Kieran Walsh looking for a guide on Helior. Absolutely. We have John Mayo looking for Helior next. I'm not sure when you left this comment, but next, I guess, at the time of this recording, at least. And then we have Black Nova looking for Helior. He's on a hard dragon team, 1 minute team, even better than Staltus. There's no video about him, all old videos. Well, let's go ahead and change that today, guys. What do you say? So let's take a look at Helior's kit here. Why is he better than Staltus against the Dragon Hard, and what else could he bring to the table? So on the first of all, aesthetically, I like the looks of this dude, man. I like his shield especially. Look at that big sun face. I like the aesthetics of this dude. He's a defense-based champion. His defense is 1542. Scales very, very well, okay? On the A1, we're increasing this champion's defense by 5% if the attack is critical. That stacks up to 20%. And then after that, he'll start kind of a built-in lifesteal, healing himself. Really good A1. On the A2, Solar Blessing, it's an AoE. You get a shield based on 20% of the damage dealt. So because of the A1 and the A2, we obviously want to build this guy with 100% crit rate at the very least. Now, the bummer about the A2, and this is kind of the downside of this champion, this is why a lot of people thought he was underwhelming out the gate, is there's only a 3 multiplier. I want to say it's a 3.8 on the A1. It's a very hard-hitting A1 ability, which is nice when we get to the A3. We'll talk about why. But on this A2, a 3 is not that good. It's not going to be dealing a lot of damage, which really sucks because the shield is predicated on that damage. He's far away from like a Helicath or a Valkyrie, even a miscreated monster shield, right? But it's a shield nonetheless, and it's not awful. It's just not great, okay? A 3 multiplier is worse than like a Grush the Mangler, a Huskarul, a lot of like epic defense-based nuker, like a Umbral Enchantress as well, right? Anyway, I digress. Not trying to crap on the guy, but, you know, was hoping for a little bit more in terms of the multiplier initially. The cool thing is, and really the highlight of his kit, in my opinion, is Harsh Light. Transfers all debuffs from all allies to a target enemy. So it's a cleanse, but it's more than a cleanse. We're also sending them over to an enemy, and then it attacks that enemy, not with this ability, but with a default skill, which is great because it's going to further boost up our defense, okay? Converts this champion's resistance into accuracy when using this skill. And this is all on a 3-turn cooldown, which is beautiful. Now, this allows us to build this champion to be an ultimate tank. There's no reason to put accuracy on it in his kit at all, because this is the only ability that requires accuracy, and it's just going to come from your resistance. Therefore, you do not need to pay attention at all to accuracy on this champion whatsoever. We just want resistance, okay? If you have accuracy, it's still going to work. It will be additive, right, from the Great Hall or whatever, but we don't need to focus on it. On the passive, whenever an ally that has 2 or more debuffs is attacked, this champion will absorb 30% of the damage inflicted on that ally. This is very nice as well. It buys you more time to get to the A3 and transfer all those debuffs onto an enemy. In the meantime, we'll get some nice damage mitigation off of that passive. So it's nice and handy. Moreover, it suits the rest of his kit really well. Resist in all battles by 60, a good resist or a lead as well. Let me go ahead and show you how I built this dude. This guy, I'm going to show you a kind of a... it's kind of an endgame build, but it's not too crazy. The priorities on this champion are going to be the same no matter where you're using him. And that is going to be resistance and crit rate, you know, first and second. And then speed and defense in terms of stat priorities. You'll see the total stats here. I have 5k defense. In the early game, we're going to be shooting for like 2,500 defense. You know, it scales nice and easy with 1542. Anything over 1,500 defense in this game as a base stat is like S tier. It's very good, right? Anything over 1,400 is probably like A tier. So that's kind of how you scale a defense-based champion. When you see these numbers, you know, creeping up to 1,550, creeping up to 1,600 in the territory of like an Ursuga or a Valkyrie, right? And a Glycia and a Helior, right? You know it's really good. Anyway, so mid-game 4,000 defense, end game 5,000 and beyond, right? I've seen 7,000, 8,000 defense on some of these champions. Obscenely crazy out of this world builds in the late game. Anyway, I digress. Some survivability is nice in the HP as well. Speed, we already talked about priorities, but just to reiterate, crit rate, resistance, defense, speed, right? Those are the priorities that we have when building this champion. So because it's additive in terms of his total accuracy when converting on that A3, we really have like a 570 plus total accuracy on this champion. The nice thing is you can really take it to the max and just keep loading resistance on him. And now you've got a tank who's going to resist everything and also cleanse all your allies. So we could even go higher and sacrifice a little bit of defense if we wanted to, right? And that's the direction that I would go for arena builds, for PvP, right? You don't see this guy as a meta endgame arena champion, but you can have some fun with him inside the arena because he's super tanky, as we already spoke about, and you can build him to be a high resistance tank. So we have obviously resistance on the banner. We have crit damage on the amulet. We do want to try to min-max his damage as much as we can to get a beefier shield from that A2. But I will state and try to emphasize to you guys that in the early game, the mid game, if you're just starting out, if he's one of the first legendaries that you pulled, I don't think you have to stress out going crit damage on the gauntlets on this champion. I think you can get by just fine with crit rate on the gauntlets, okay? I do think that this new set, kind of new now, it's probably 6 months old or a year old, I don't know, Righteous is the best set for this champion. You get speed and resistance. Only problem is Righteous gear is very tough to get your hands on. I would just go old school resistance on this champ, you know? Old school resistance sets, it's not super popular, so odds are you have it hanging around anyway. You could also go, you know, I don't want to go with, you can go Guardian. Sorry, I don't want to go Perception because we don't want accuracy. We want resistance because it's going to be double our bang for our buck, right? Double our value. Every point of resistance is a point of accuracy. So why go accuracy as we've already spoken about? But yeah, guys, I would go with Guardian. He already has kind of a built-in Guardian on the passive, but Guardian sets are going to mitigate 15% of damage that all allies receive and be rerouted to this champion, okay? That's really, really powerful, and it's also going to heal him every turn. So I think Guardian plays right off this passive, and it suits his kit really well also. Plus, he's healing himself anyway, kind of built-in lifesteal on that A1 eventually, right? Okay. Blessings. I went Intimidating Presence. I think Intimidating Presence is great. You get resist after 4 stars. We just barely got there. I think having 1 Intimidating Presence on your team is a nice, you know, not a must, but really nice to have on all your squads. So I think he's the perfect candidate for that. If I wasn't going to go that direction, I guess I would go with... I would definitely go Intimidating Presence on this champion the more that I look at it, right? I think that would be my favorite choice. Of course, he could be your, I guess if you wanted to, he could be your cruelty champion, but you know, it doesn't map onto his kit that well. We could go like Dark Resolve or go with Indomitable Spirit if we wanted to as well. Okay, Masteries on this champion. I went down defense and offense. I have kind of an unorthodox setup here. You can go support tree. You can either go with HP or go with accuracy. Come down Lore of Steel would be extremely beneficial on this champion. Then I would come down to Spirit Haste. There's no reason for Master Hexer or Sniper on this champion. On the defense tree, though, you get to pick up all the healing, rejuvenation. Make sure we keep him alive because he's taking like a decent amount of damage, right? Shadow heal, delay death. I do want to pick up Selfless Defender on this champion because he's so tanky, right? He's so good at keeping himself alive that you might as well mitigate the first shot on all your allies, the first hit of every battle. You could take it a step further and go tier 6 Bulwark on this champion. That will eat up or soak up 5% of all damage that all your allies receive throughout the duration of any battle, right? So you can build this dude to be the ultimate tank if you wanted to. Alternatively, you could even go with Unshakable. Get extra accuracy and resistance at the same time. But I wanted to go down and kind of get a little bit more damage for that A2. Plus his A1 hits hard anyway. We're building with 100% crit rate anyway. So I went down with War Master. If I was using him against other champions in waves, I would go Helm Smasher instead of War Master. Okay, that's the build. We talked about everything really quickly. Speed on the boots, defense percentage on the chest, and crit damage on the gauntlets. We already spoke about this, but you can go resistance on the chest. You can go with to do resistance or defense on the banner. You can, I'd rather resistance personally. Crit damage is a nice way to get a bigger shield and more damage, and then defense on the ring. Let's go ahead and give him a shot. I just want to try him out. Again, he's not really the quintessential arena champion, but I want to try him out here against a, I don't know, kind of a random team. Let's go against this squad here. I have him on a go second team with Staltis as our nuker, Mithrala as our increased defense champion. Keep in mind, a defense-based champion starting out with that increased defense is going to be, you know, I don't want to say mandatory, but pretty dang close to mandatory, right? We want him to do more damage. We want a better shield, you know. So we want that increased defense plus survivability, and it scales so well. We're going to come in here and try to remove some of this stuff. I hope I don't activate Mortu Macabre. We already have a shield on, so we might as well just come in here and poke away at one of their revivers. And that was his A1. It didn't hit that. It wasn't that bad, the damage-wise. Let's see. We're not going to be able to land that stun anyway, so let's just put the increased defense on him, come in there with a nuke. And you're going to see already, we have shields on this team. Oof. Mortu Macabre just killed the man of the hour, guys. That sucks. Sorry about that. Well, he got his job done, right? To some extent. We didn't get his job done at all, did we, guys? Let's come in here and still win this battle, hopefully, though. Mortu Macabre, man. Always. I always say this too, but it's so true, man. Whenever you have him on your team, I never get the, I feel like I never get peril. And then when I go against him, I feel like it's peril every time. All right. Did Pythion just revive? I think so. Let's target Raka next, and hopefully Mortu Macabre doesn't ruin our day. Come in there. Let's go ahead and shield up. Oh, yeah. He came in there and ruined our day all right. Okay, so it looks like we might not be able to take this team out here. Want to get a redo? Let's get a redo, guys. Who cares, right? It's our game. We could do whatever we want here. Let's get revenge against this squad. And then I want to move over to let's see, we could do Faction Wars. We could do Dragon. I really want to show you this guy in Dragon, man. I feel like that's where it's at. All right. So let's do, we have no debuff, so I can't really highlight his A3 here. So let's just A1 again. He has the lowest HP on the team, and he's Force Affinity, so the worst thing that you want against a Mortu Macabre, right? This time, let's switch it up a little bit and just go A1 as to not activate Peril. Keep him alive. There we go. Now we can cleanse. Now we can block damage, get a full heal there. Now we're in a much better position, right? Come in with an A1. Again, no debuffs, so I think I'd rather just go in with a little bit of a nukage. That's his A2. Again, we're not seeing, like, insane damage from that A2. It's not as much as Staltis, but it's nice, right? It's nice. All right, let's go in here and just kind of keep the ball moving here. I'm feeling a lot better about this go round, though. Let's go A1 here. That's that hard-hitting A1 by Helior. Not too bad, right? Come in there, get the unkillable on Rhodos. Let's just poke away at the reviver, get him down. Let's A2 here, remove some of these buffs, and now it's just us and Mortu. And hey, we got our revenge, guys. We got our revenge there. So, I'm not the best showcase in Helior, but you guys can kind of see how it can be pretty effective to have that shield combination with the debuffs if we were under any, which we really weren't that bad. All right, guys, I'm going to run him as the Aura lead for even more resistance just for the heck of it. Hopefully this team works. Let's see how he does here. So we have a Seer activation team, so I can just stay with you guys. The waves will go by pretty quickly. Seer will remove shields. We come in here with Yumeko, resets the cooldown of everything. We have Venus in here as a debuffer. Essentially, we have a reset champion and a debuffer to get through the waves. And then once we actually get to the dragon, it's going to be all Helior all the time. So he's going to take these... He led in with the A2, which is okay because we want as many poisons as possible on our team. Let's take it off auto really quickly here. Come on, dragon. Give me some poisons here, right? And the idea here is... Oh, he died. The idea is he doesn't die. We probably, given that, and this is great that it happens in real time here, what we want to do is build him with a little bit more HP. You could have all the defense in the world, but we also need HP. It's okay, though, because we're just going to go ahead and revive right now with Duchess. come back again. Going to reset the cooldowns, and let's go ahead and apply some hexage and get some buffs up. And I don't want to use it right now, right? Yeah, let's just do some damage there with a Karma Burn. Okay, there's not much to transfer right this second, but the idea here is like, you know, we'll transfer decrease attack. At least we cleanse there, and he dealt a decent amount of damage with the A1. But the idea here is all these poisons, man. He's not doing a good job placing his poisons, the dragon here. We place a few there, but we get the cleanse, and we get to send all those poisons right back to the dragon, right? So I think it's off cooldown here. Oh, Seer had something to say about that. So guys, we don't need to show you the run again, but the idea here is block debuffs. We were actually getting rid of a lot of those debuffs just from Duchess's A2. But when you're taking in all those poisons on Dragonheart or anywhere else that are throwing debuffs at you, this is going to, you saw it there, like to a certain extent, it's going to cleanse everybody on your team and then send them back. And poisons are the best weapon against dragons. So obvious reasons, it's a really, really potent combo there. I think somebody in the requests were actually asking to see exactly that. Now let's use Helior. This is actually a pretty solid squad to put together here. Let's use him on this team instead of Richthof. And we might as well just keep the resistance aura, right? So in Faction Wars and anywhere else in Doom Tower Waves, again, we spoke about this earlier. Actually, let me pull him up on Hell Hades. You can see that Solar Blessing again. It's not crazy damage, but it's nice to have, right? I'll come back at the red boss. But you can see, man, Ice Golem, great for damage mitigation. Excellent Ice Golem champion, especially Ice Golem hard as well. You could use him just for damage mitigation. Dragonheart, very good. Shogun, 4 out of 5. You can see all these Doom Tower areas, man. They give him really good scores here in hellhades.com. The 3 multiplier, 3.2, not 3.8 on that A1. I apologize. But here we go. Taking care of these man-eaters, making quick work of this Doom Tower wave. We're already at the red boss here. We have Azura on the team, Archmage Helmet, Stag Knight on this squad as well. And you can see we're not really having to worry about so many debuffs here just yet. But if we do, he's going to be the ultimate cleanse. What's better than cleansing your team than sending them back to the enemy? I really like this champion as an endgame champion in Dragonheart and Faction Wars. That for me, and maybe a little bit of survivability in random Doom Tower waves if you don't have a Seer activation team or if your team can't scale with the higher levels, right? Other than that, though, I gotta be real with you guys. If you already have a solution, if you already have a Staltis, Dragonbane, or a team kind of equipped to handle Dragon 10, like all the way through the Dragon Dungeon, I probably would not book and build this champion. Not to say that I'm trying to take a shot at him or anything like that, right? I think he's a really cool champion, but I do think that his utility and his niche that he fills, well, is just that. It's a little niche. It's a little niche. So I think that he could easily be a champion that benefits a lot of you on a lot of different accounts. With that A3 specifically, I would not build him just for the A2. But outside of that, and you can see he puts out, you know, about half the damage as a Rhonda, you know, for a good comp. And he's built with about the same amount of crit rate and crit damage as Rhonda. But beyond that, I would not advise using your resources on this champion. I fear that a lot of people see him, they see those great base stats, he looks badass, you know, and they see the skills read pretty well, and then they end up vaulting him, right? And I just gotta be real with you, as we are on every guide on this channel, as we try, make sure you watch till the end of these videos, because this is when I give my honest assessment. I probably would not build nor book this champion unless I was in progression mode, or unless I really needed a cleanser, or unless I was looking for a Dragonheart specialist. What do you guys think of Helior? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and as always, take care, guys.